Welcome back to Havana Media. My name is Boniface Owino, and as usual, I'm going to be your host for today. I wanted to discuss something here for a few minutes concerning today's signing of Iebc amendment bill that the president have just signed something like a few minutes ago, something like 1 hour ago. And I followed it since it started, the signing and all that, and then at the end of it, during the speeches, and something shocked me. There are three leaders that have spoken. Let us leave alone Kimani Chungwa, because that one is not even something that we should put our minds or we should discuss, because obviously we know Kimani Chungwa doesn't say something constructive as it stands right now. So Raila Amolo Odinga spoke, Kalonzo Musyoka spoke, and William Samoei Ruto spoke. But I want us to focus. There is something that has happened. Number one, during Kalonzo Musyoka's speech, there is something that Kalonzo Musyoka have said concerning the Gen Zs. And he has stated very well that if the leaders are not careful, these leaders, if they're not careful, then the Gen Zs will throw them away. That the Gen Zs should not be excluded from anything that is happening. So said, yes, and then he also talked about this issue of IG Kome. He said very well that if IG Kome cannot resign, if the president cannot order IG Kome to resign, then the KDF and the Kenya Police should out of the street to leave the office so that the KDF can go back to the barracks. In short, he was trying to say that the Gen Zs are peaceful. I think this is what he was trying to say. The Gen Zs are peaceful, and what they are doing doesn't even affect anybody. So what needs to be done is very simple. The police should get out of the streets, and also the KDF that were deployed on the streets should go back to the barracks to do what they're supposed to do in barracks.
Mr. President, Honorable William Samoei Ruto, Prime Minister Raila Odinga, both co-principals of the NADCO process, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't find it easy to come in here this morning for various reasons, one of which was the barricading of the route to KICC. But I must thank the organizers for having brought it to KICC, because if it was a State House, Mr. President, it would even have been a little harder. The reason is simple. Our country is at a crossroads. My colleague, Honorable Kimani Chungwa, has highlighted that both of you asked us to undertake the process of NADCO following the 2023 enactment of the finance bill and the riots that took place, where we lost people, 75 of them, property was destroyed, and the country was in a state of a shock. We undertook that responsibility with gusto, and we are very open-minded. As Azimio la Umoja One Kenya, our number one topic was the high cost of living. But Kimani and the team on Kenya Kwanza convinced us that it was a government responsibility and the opposition had nothing to do with discussing the high cost of living. I hope that in the light of recent developments, my friend Kimani would have revised that thought. Because again, 2024, Finance Act and the riots, and again we have lost 41 young Kenyans. This time they came in the form of Gen Z, but they are Kenyans. They have a right to belong. In fact, they are carrying the national flags. They have done it better than we did when some of us nearly got killed. Mr. President, I want to urge that we look at our country afresh. There's no way we can wish away the Gen Z revolution. And if we were to begin to be honest with ourselves, perhaps we need now to go back to bombers, because during the presentations, Kimani and Cheruiyot may remember, and Wandai was deputizing me, that a lot of Kenyans wanted us to open this space. the space has been opened by Gen Z. I wish we had moved with speed. It has taken inordinate delay to get to where we are today, to get the first product out of NATCO. And I'm not so sure, my friend Kimani, whether it is expected of us to even fast track the other 8. They have to be juxtaposed by the reality of the country and this new revolt. If we are not careful, all of us will get thrown out by the Gen Zs, because they say we have come of age. You say that we are leaders of tomorrow, we are leaders now. We can't wish them away. Therefore, I want to urge that we now look at the whole thing. For example, we have now set up the process of nominating new commissioners. We made it very clear that both you, Mr. President, and Mr. Raila Odinga, the Prime Minister, will have to agree on, perhaps most importantly, on who becomes the chair of the new Iebc. That principle of consultation was inbuilt, and I thank my colleagues because we didn't have to struggle much to agree. But now is the time. The country is at a crossroads. Can we, for a beginning, even in order to bring the country to normalcy, can you, Mr. President, order the Inspector General of Police, if he doesn't resign, can he remove the police from the streets? Can the army get out of our streets and back to the barracks? I thank you.
One thing that happened is very funny. That immediately after Kalonzo Musyoka finished talking, Kimani Ichung'wah was speaking, and then Kimani Ichung'wah went ahead to invite Raila Amolo Odinga instead of inviting Rigathi Gachagua. I don't know that picture, that picture. Who should invite, in fact, that chain was like this. Kimani Ichung'wah invited Kalonzo Musyoka. Kalonzo Musyoka then took it back to Kimani Ichung'wah. And then Kimani Ichung'wah invited Raila Amolo Odinga. Raila Amolo Odinga jumped and invited William Samoei Ruto. So I think it is out of shame that now William Ruto was feeling like, no, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is here. So William Ruto invited Rigathi Gachagua. You know, it is very funny. I want us to take a look at this picture. Kimani Ichung'wah inviting Kalonzo Musyoka. No, let us not talk about Kalonzo Musyoka because we've talked about that. So Kimani Ichung'wah inviting Raila Amolo Odinga. And then Raila Amolo Odinga, Kimani Ichung'wah is saying that let Raila Amolo Odinga come, and then after finishing, he should invite William Samoei Ruto, the president. So my question is, between Raila Amolo Odinga and Rigathi Gachagua, who is supposed to invite the president? Because after Raila Amolo Odinga have invited the president is coming to and is remembering that in our midst we also have a lost sheep, that is Rigathi Gachagua. So let me invite Rigathi Gachagua so that he can talk. And then Rigathi Gachagua speaks. At the end of Rigathi Gachagua's speech, Rigathi Gachagua is saying that it is my duty. So he's saying that it is my duty to invite the president. So it's not Raila Amolo Odinga's duty. It is my duty. He's also trying to remind these leaders that you forgot that it is my duty to invite the president. And then so he is inviting the person that invited him to speak. So are you seeing that confusion that is in the government? And then Rigathi Gachagua is talking about this issue of dialogue. But I have a question there. That how long have these people been in the office, yet they don't know what the people of Kenya want? These people have been in the office for quite a number of time, for a long time, and I think it was the best time for them to know what Kenyans want. Instead of coming out, and then after coming out is when they realize that there is something, there are a lot of things that Kenyans need, and for them to, it's like, for you to engage someone in a dialogue, in a dialogue speech, is like you don't understand, you don't know what these people want, so you want to get their views, what they want. Are you seeing that? And then Raila Amolo Odinga is also talking about the dialogue. I don't know. I want us to listen to the way Rigathi Gachagua was speaking, and then also listen to the way Raila Amolo Odinga was speaking.
The president has accepted to have a discussion with our young population, with our leaders. We call upon the people of Kenya to give dialogue a chance, to give consultation a chance, get off the streets, stay away from destruction of property, because Kenya is greater than all of us. And I think, Your Excellency, you have the capacity to lead us in that direction, where there is consultation and all Kenyans are able to agree on the way forward. With those few remarks, it's my duty to ask Your Excellency to address the country. Thank you.
Your Excellency, my brother President William Samoei Ruto, all distinguished ladies and gentlemen who are here this morning, we have come here today for a very solemn occasion. And I'm happy that this function has been arranged to take place here at KICC. As my colleague Stephen Kalonzo&Raila said, we are at a crossroads as a country. And times like this requires leadership, the country to move forward. What we are doing today is a culmination of a process that began sometime last year when President Olusegun Obasanjo came to mediate and the conflict that was raging on at that time. We agreed when we sat together, myself and Brother William Ruto, that we would follow the route of dialogue. And that is the reason why NADCO was set up. NADCO then proceeded to dialogue and ended up with a very voluminous report which has contained some very fundamental recommendations. This bill that has now been signed into the law today is just one of those. But the NADCO report contains very many issues which are at the heart of the people of Kenya today. If you see the issues which are being raised by our youth, most of them are actually contained in the NADCO report. But if this NADCO report is implemented fully, you'll be able to address all those issues which these young people are raising. We are, as I've said, at a very, very crucial juncture in the history of our country. Our country has moved forward. There have been highs and lows in our history of 61 years. We need to move forward. And I want to say that, at this moment in time, my brother, that we require now a wider engagement so that people have an opportunity to vomit all that is there in their chest in order that we can be able to find a way forward. I therefore want to support the proposal of my brother Stephen Kalonzo&Raila that we have this conversation. It may not take more than 2 weeks, but it brings all the stakeholders together. Today, our society is fairly stratified. Nearly 70% of our population is below the age of 35, the youth. If you say that between 35 and 18 constitute about 40%, we need that 40% to be present when this dialogue is taking place. And then the rest can fill the rest. And then we just talk about the Kenya we want. The Kenya we want convention. out of that will come out recommendations that will help us to resolve this issue once and for all. That will be my proposal, Your Excellency. I think that Kenya deserves better. In the last elections, the whole world was stunned when we saw an electoral commission that was completely divided. Some saying one thing, others saying one thing. You may be happy that, the other group ruled in my favor. But what example are we showing the world as a country? That in the process of very important exercise, the commission is divided. Nobody knows whom to believe up to today. It is a shame on us. And we are sure that we have got men and women here in this country who can actually do a better job. And that will help to unify this country.
And then lastly, immediately after finishing the speech inside, they were outside the KICC. And there's something that happened. Between Raila, the same question, between Raila Amolo Odinga and William Samoei Ruto, who should end the speech? We saw it inside. Raila Amolo Odinga inviting William Ruto. And then outside, William Ruto again inviting Raila Amolo Odinga to finish the speech. So that confusion that is, I don't know if William Ruto is realizing that he is the president and he should make decisions or something. I don't know. I really don't understand. I don't know what to think concerning all these videos. I would also like to listen to your comment in the comment section. But just a reminder, if you're meeting for the first time, please don't forget to click the subscribe button. You can also like and share your comment and tell me where you're watching us from and the ways these videos are reaching you. And let us not forget that in the afternoon, I'm planning to host our Iebc professor so that we can discuss all these things that are happening, these things that have happened today, and also discuss in depth what is in the Iebc amendment bill that we are failing to understand. Until we meet again, I'm your host, Boniface Owino. Bye-bye.